What's up, y'all? This is Jay Spruill, movies, music, sports, and life. Um, I'm dressed like this because I got my final. Uh, I guess it could possibly be my last game with my basketball league because this the playoffs and it's single elimination. So, in order to win the championship tonight, I'd have to play in 3 games and win all three. But we the number 4 seed, so got to play first at 6:15. If we win, we go to the semifinals. Then if we win again, we go to the championship. But uh, if we lose, I'm out. So that's why I'm dressed up. But y'all not here to hear about that. Y'all here for these superheroes, but not my boy Cyborg right there. Not my boy Luke Cage. Y'all here for She-Hulk. And I will admit to you, when you see my thumbnail, you probably just say, "Well, Jay Spruill, you being a hater." Like like you hating on the female led TV show. This is what I would say to this. I am as tired as you are of all the white men that keep crying about everything being woke, cry about anything anytime they add a black character that wasn't on there before, anytime they give a woman superhero, y'all being woke. I'm just as tired of that from these white boys as you are. They're constantly whining. They don't want anything to change. But I can also be real enough to admit that Captain Marvel sucked as a movie. It was terrible. Black Widow Black Widow was kind of boring. I won't say Black Widow was terrible, but it was terrible how they did Scarlett Johansson. Like waiting that long to put that movie out after you've already basically made us see her death on screen. It just doesn't make any sense to come up with a prequel after you saw her sacrifice herself for her best friend Hawkeye. Miss Marvel was it was just okay. So even though I'm tired of people complaining about women and black people and Latinos being a part of comic book stuff, I have to admit that in terms of the woman sides, they haven't been giving us like really great product. And I think that we into this once again. So let me say episode one, because the people who reviewed the show, they got 4 episodes. So just off episode one, it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be, but I haven't seen the other 3 episodes yet. So from what I understand, it's gonna get worse. But this episode was pretty decent, halfway enjoyable. My problem with that is that Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, aka Mark Ruffalo, got a lot of screen time in this. So if this episode was 38 minutes long, I promise you the Hulk was in about 30 minutes of this episode. And we're not going to see that anymore. And that allowed me to kind of realize that if this young lady has to carry the show by herself, she isn't that interesting. Because the Hulk was interesting and her plan off him was pretty good. But from what I understand with this show, it's just going to be a bunch of Marvel villains that we've seen in the past, and she's going to be defending them in court and stuff like that. One of the person who she has to defend is the Abomination, and she even made a comment in one of the trailers that I have a conflict of interest. He tried to kill my cousin Bruce Banner. So the episode starts off, the car flips over. And what's interesting about the car flipping over is that it was a spaceship. And later on, he kind of just blew it off when he was explaining it to She-Hulk. I think her name is Jennifer. He was explaining it was a spaceship from Sakaar. And I guess I gotta nerd out and geek out a little bit for you guys to understand the relevance of a spaceship from Sakaar. What is Hulk talking about? Do you remember on Thor Ragnarok when Thor went to this planet and then he was supposed to fight somebody, and then it was the Hulk? He said, "Oh, that's my friend from work. Yeah, we know each other." But Hulk didn't remember him. That is the planet Sakaar. Sakaar is where in the comics they sent the Hulk because he was so out of control. And then he ended up becoming a gladiator, and then he became like king of the whole planet. And then he got a spaceship to come back to Earth to punish everybody for sending him to another planet. And that issue or series is called World War Hulk. But for whatever reason, the aliens from that planet, I guess, are coming back to Earth to try to recapture Hulk and bring him back out there. So that's what he was referring to. Um, but in a kind of unbelievable way, the car flips over, and then his green blood gets onto her skin, and then she hulks out. Like that's kind of a piss poor expl- ex- explanation of why she would turn into a Hulk, because I'm your cousin and some of your blood gets on me. So what about me? I'm just a black man from the hood, Hulk. If you bled and got on me, I'ma be a Negro Hulk, or I gotta be your cousin for it to work. That's that's a very weak explanation, if you even want to call it explanation. Um, the majority of this episode is they are in Mexico. One thing about Hulk, the Hulk always finds someplace far away from America. Ain't that funny? Like, as if America is the only place that he can damage. Because if you remember on Avengers, they found him out in India, and now he's in Mexico. So, like, what's the difference? If you're gonna Hulk out, you're gonna destroy Indian people or Mexican people the same way you destroy Americans. But comic book logic. Um, but they spend the majority of the time in Mexico training. Hulk has a little bar, and when they kind of kicking it around the bar, that's kind of funny, and that was cool. Then she gets mad because she says, "I still got to go to work. I still got my job." So, with me being a teacher, I can relate to that, and I felt that it was kind of funny that a superhero talking about I gotta be at work on Monday. So I can give them some props for that, just for that being different and that being kind of ridiculous. And then some generic unnamed supervillain interrupts her court case as she's about to give the closing statements, and her friend tells her to take off her high heel shoes and Hulk out, and she hulks out and beats up the anonymous female supervillain. It didn't even make any sense why the supervillain even crashed through the wall during the trial. Like, what you gonna rob the judge for his gavel? Like, it just didn't make any sense. But at any rate, um, she hulks out, and then she goes back to her human form, and then she says, "Now I like to give my closing statements." So from what I have ascertained, she's gonna get fired from her job because she hulked out, and normal human beings are scared of a 6'7" green woman, popping out of her office suit. And that's all I got. So I would give this like a C plus. If I was in a really good mood, maybe a B minus. But from what I understand, the show is not gonna get much better from here, and the show is also going to rely on a lot of guest appearances, which makes me feel like the young lady herself isn't doing enough to carry the show. So you're gonna get Wong, the what do they call it? The Supreme Wizard, Sorcerer Supreme, um, Asian guy from Doctor Strange camp or from his franchise. They say he's gonna be in. I don't know all the episodes, but he's gonna be in most of them. So you got Wong, Abomination as a villain. Daredevil is gonna pop up at some point, and who knows? Maybe we'll get Hulk again. So yeah, they just are kind of surrounding her with a lot of people, almost just in case we're not interested in her, and I don't think that's cool. It was kind of similar to the Hawkeye series. It seemed like we hardly got anything from Hawkeye, and the show centered around Kate Bishop, and she wasn't that interesting. So, um, yeah, I don't know if I felt I owed it to Disney Plus and Marvel to at least review the first episode. If they get any worse, it might not it might not be in my best interest to come on here and put the headset on and try to break it down. But leave me a comment if you watched it. If you think I'm being fair with my assessment of a C plus, or if you feel like I'm hating and it should have been rated higher. And as always, this is Jay Spru.